Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the home studio finally beginning the month of April here at the program. And tonight, boy, what a treat do we have for you. We are going to bring you the industrial brutality of a brand new band here in the Alamo City. The band is called Excodex, and I have with me DJ, Jason, and the main man, Russ. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad we are finally getting this done. And as I was telling you guys before we started rolling, I'm just a big fan of your music.
Thank you.
All these people are going to get the info tonight, and then soon enough, you will get the music. So, Russ, we've been talking for a little bit, and, I was telling you, man, I know who you are. I've seen you play before. So let's talk a little bit about the beginnings, even before we get into Excodex. Tell the people out there a little bit about your history in music here in San Antonio.
Well, I was born here in San Antonio, although I wasn't raised here. I grew up in North Texas, in Amarillo, Texas. So when I was a young teenager, that's where I cut my teeth, so to speak, on music and metal in general. I moved here in 2007, and once I got my bearings here in the city, San Antonio is a big city, so once I got my bearings here, I started working with as many people as I could find. And about 2011, I met this guy right here, Jason, who is an amazing keyboard player.
Yeah.
And and we've stuck it out ever since throughout various projects and side projects and a whole bunch of other different things. And later on down the road, met DJ here. Met DJ actually a little bit after we had formed the band, the Akuzma that we were in.
Yeah, that's what I want you kind of to elaborate a little bit on, because that's when I saw you. And I always thought the Akuzma was cool because you guys had like lots of dudes in the band. And,
right.
And you guys had like, you all were all dressed up. And I remember seeing you at Fitzgerald one night, and I had never heard anything about the band, but I remember I was kind of captivated. I was watching the show.
Right. Yeah, we started the Akuzma back in 2011. It was myself and him. There was another rapper lead singer that we had named Tricky. And various guitar players and drummers came through in and out of the band throughout the years. So we just played a lot here in the city, all the main venues that all the other metal and rock bands always play at. We frequented a lot of them. We actually got to open up for quite a few national touring acts.
Yeah.
Everybody from Mushroom Head to Wayne Static, R.I.P.
Yeah.
So lots of cool things that we got to do as the Akuzma before we ended up calling it quits in about 2017. We about taken it as far as we felt like it could go.
Oh, okay.
So it was time to try other things.
Nice. Couple quick questions.
Sure.
You talked about kind of cutting your teeth in the Dallas scene. Was the kind of like that industrial vibe in your brutality always part of that? Or when did that come into kind of play for you?
I've grown up on that kind of music. It's always been something that I've been into. I've always favored music that had heavy guitars and electronics or keyboards in it.
Yeah.
I like my metal with a little flavor to it.
Sonic landscape.
Yeah, and that's my particular jam. That's my flavor, is electronic stuff. So I like to always add it into everything that we've done. And thankfully in this band, it's gotten to develop to the point where it's taken center stage.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to the debut, and I was like, I remember that when you first sent it to me, I was like, I gotta hear it again. And every time I would hear it, I would always hear something new, especially with what Jason was doing and a lot of the background stuff. I was like, oh man, this is so like rich and full, and that's what I really loved about it. Okay, so you decided to put the Akuzma away. How long after that did you say, I need to get back to work and start a new project?
After that, I was kind of interested in doing other types of music. So I wanted to spread my wings a little bit. I played guitar in a rock band. We started another metal band called Dead Sky. That was we had going for a little while. I have my own personal electronic sort of rap project that I started.
Wow.
But honestly, my heart's always been in metal, and it's always been in the kind of electronic industrial metal that we do. I've always wanted to do that, but at the time I was just trying to spread my wings and get experience doing other things, become a more well-rounded musician.
Yeah.
Work with other people.
Yeah. So when did you kind of officially start Excodex? Because I think I just heard about it, I think at the beginning of the years when we kind of started talking. But how long have you been working on this project?
The project started actually. What began it was I had downloaded some programs, various electronic and keyboard synthesizer programs, and sometimes when it comes to keyboards, they tend to hold various sounds. Certain companies, whether it's Korg or Roland or any of them. So I found a company online that had sounds that just blew my mind. It was just an amazing collection of sounds that I'd always been looking for and found at the right time. So I wrote some demos using that. And I actually brought them over to his birthday party at the end of 2019. He was having a house party for his birthday.
You're like, Jason, don't have a good time. Let's work.
And
after 10 beers, I love that song. I love that song. That song's awesome.
yeah.
So that's how you got him to get in the band. He said, hey, man, let's do it.
I had some songs to show him, and DJ was there that night as well.
Oh, cool.
And I said, hey, man, I want to show you some demos I've been working on. I had them on my phone with me. So we went out in the backyard, and I played him some demos, and he was like instantly like, dude, send me those songs.
Yeah.
I want to play drums to that stuff. Like, I've got to. And they were just in demo form at that point in time. They weren't the developed product that we have now.
Sure.
So at that point in time, the three of us just started talking, and it kind of went from there.
And what was that again? I'm sorry.
It was at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, just before everything changed.
Yeah.
So when things did stop, it gave us the ability to just write music.
Right.
So I spent most of early 2020 just writing and doing demos and developing the sound.
Sweet. Yeah, man, it's so cool. Like, if you have good music buddies that, you can bring something to them, and then everybody jumps on board, and it becomes like it builds momentum.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good feeling, man. And when I started this interview, I said, Russ the man, because I know you're at the heart of this band. What is the name Excodex? How did you come up with that? What does that mean?
Honestly, I was just trying to find a name that I felt represented the electronic or alluded to the electronic aspects of the metal that we do.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that somebody would hear and it would make them curious at least.
Technical.
Yeah.
It's technical.
Yes.
Band names are so fucking important.
Oh, absolutely.
So fucking important.
Yeah. So after that, we just started working on stuff under the banner of Excodex, and we just started taking it in the direction that we've been taking it to today.
We're about to start talking about the music here in a little bit, but also one of the kind of things that, as you've started to market the band here regionally, one of the things I thought that also was kind of cool, and it didn't really surprise me taking into consideration your history, the band's history with the Akuzma, that you guys kind of had like this motif, this theme for Excodex, and it seemed to be like the sci-fi kind of theme, interplanetary alien type of thing, and I thought that was really cool. I saw a promo shot. You guys have some laser guns in your hands.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was cool, man. I'm like, yeah, these guys, get it. They're just not throwing shit out there. They're really working on a vision and a holistic kind of artistic piece for what this band is and what they want to represent. How did that come into play?
It came into play after the name. The main thing that I wanted is that typically from the industrial metal genre, bands usually have a more gothic look. They usually dress in black. That's very typical of the genre. And I didn't feel like that was really something that we could, it's been done a lot. So it wasn't something that I felt like that we could really, bring anything new to that look, to that style, to that feel, even if the music spoke to that. So what we did is we decided that the electronic aspect of it really fit with the sci-fi aspect of it. And the songs themselves already had started taking on sort of a sci-fi X-Files sort of a feel to the electronics anyway, and it just kind of spoke to us like that's what it should be. And sci-fi motifs are not really done that much in the metal. It has been done, we're not the first, but it's definitely an avenue that we felt like that we could explore and bring something new to it rather than do something that's been done to death, basically.
Don't get me fucking started talking about extraterrestrials.
Oh man, I love watching ancient aliens,
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I watch that stuff on repeat, man. Yeah.
DJ's gonna tell me
and that
they started the pandemic and shit.
That was what I was watching when I was working on the demos. I would watch Ancient Aliens in the morning and work on music in the afternoon, and it just kind of all went together.
Yeah, man, that's great stuff. It's it's a really, I think it's a great idea because right now, I think humanity is kind of coming to grips with some of the realities of the fact that we're not alone, and I think now too there seems to be this seamless kind of disclosure that's happening. The feds are letting information out a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting more and more interesting.
Go ahead, Jay.
That's what I was going to mention is the government's coming out with more files, and you see things even you see you got your YouTube and all that. Just recently here in Texas and Austin, some ex-football player, hey, I saw these lights in the sky, it's recording. They make fun of you, whatever, but hey, you never know what's out there.
And then you see like all these fucking military guys who are dying and on their deathbeds, they're fucking breaking their security oaths and coming out and saying, yeah, dude,
what else have they got to lose at that point?
Exactly. Like this shit's happening.
Yeah.
We're reverse engineering technology. We already got stuff that, we're already on Mars and shit. It's kind of weird. But yeah, man, I think that's cool. It's so intriguing, I think, to a lot of people. And I think that motif is cool, man, because it kind of lends to that and people want to grasp onto it.
Right.
So cool. That's great, man. As I mentioned earlier, I've been privy to hear the new record that's about to come out. And all you people out there, it's going to be a self-titled EP.
Correct.
5 songs. Just Excodex. And let's start talking about the record now. I love it.
Thank you.
And I was telling you, I love all kinds of metal. And I always tell people, like, no matter what genre you do, if you do it good, I'm probably going to dig it, but you got to do it good.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys fucking do this industrial electronic stuff really well. I remember we were listening to Ghost in the Machine right now, and I said, hey, my favorite part's coming up. And you said, oh, the bridge. I'm like, yeah, that part.
Right,
I don't even know what to call it, but that's my favorite part in that song. So let's talk a little bit about what people can expect from this record. I just talked a little bit about the technical stuff, about how many tracks and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about how you kind of, once you had the roughs done and these guys were on board, how did you kind of formulate really these real tracks? Where did you record them and stuff like that?
So all the tracks were originally recorded in my home studio. I have a home studio that I do all my work in and stuff.
I've seen your videos.
Yeah.
I've seen your videos, man. It's cool.
Yeah, and so everything started there. There's a good amount of production that we could do ahead of time before needing somebody else to come in with it. And the sound that we were really trying to go for is an old school industrial sound, but with modern aesthetics. The problem that I always find with modern, when people say they're modern industrial rock or industrial metal, is that it sounds very dated. It sounds like something that came out from 1998. And in today's environment, with modern recording techniques, I mean, if you really want to make an impact, you really got to harness that stuff sonically. And so we tried to bring more of a metalcore vibe to it, more of a heavier modern vibe to it than typically you hear. A lot of my favorite industrial metal artists, and we were actually talking about this earlier, like with Rob Zombie, the first couple of albums are just great. They're phenomenal. They're heavy. They're electronic. And then what is typical of most of those bands is they get, I don't know what you call it, creative, but they just kind of go off on tangents, and they end up losing a lot of their audience because they just don't have that bite that they used to have.
They lose that edge a little bit.
That edge, that's right.
Because they're rich and famous.
Yeah,
right,
so now they can do whatever they want now, yeah.
They're exploring.
And you know what the thing is? This is the thing. I think once you kind of reach a certain level of success, people are afraid to tell you, oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Or that sucks. Or
you got too many yes men around.
You got too many yes men. Oh, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do something that was definitely had a more modern sound to it, you know, because I miss that. I miss, you know, the earlier bands that I grew up loving, like Rob Zombie. Fear Factory was another one. And those bands are huge influences, but they don't put out the quality that they used to. Yeah. And that's something that I would like to change, you know. I want industrial metal to be powerful again, to be heavy again, and captivating again. Let me get a DJ's input, because one of the things that definitely sticks out on this record are the drums. We were listening to them, the songs right now, and we were just like, man, it's so heavy, and the drums are so heavy. So obviously, when you took these guys, the Roughs, you just I guess you had like, you know, machine drums, right? And then did you have any keys in there yet? Some. A little bit, and then of course, you know, he's bringing in his flavor. So talk a little bit, DJ. How did you kind of approach doing the drums for this record? Because really, that's what kind of makes it too. Like, you have that steady, heavy guitar kind of riff, you know, that rhythm riff. Right. But when you add that dynamic of the drums into it, it really it opens it up.
So I'll be the first to say, if you asked me this question like 3 years ago when it came to like drums, I would have been so like anal retentive about, oh, don't use a trigger or purist, about this or that. And it got to the point to where like I can appreciate live drums and for what they are and how loud and the impact that they bring to a live show. It's 2021, well, 2020 when we were working with this, but he would send me the tracks and I got an actual like a MIDI'd out kit at home. So I'm literally just sending him, here's my MIDI path. Sprinkle your masala on top of it. Okay. You know, it's for the betterment of having a solid like record at the end of the day. That's in all. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Gestalt. You know, I want to see this and I want to taste it, everything. And if it takes, you know, making sure that this is the quality that we're going to produce. Jonny, like, man, that guy took it to a whole nother level. And you know, so
we're going to talk about him in a little bit, people. We're talking about Jonny McBee from the Browning, who also contributed to this record. But continue, my friend.
Yeah, man. But I can't wait to finally, when this pandemic crap's over, like bust out the DWs and and my.
I can't wait either.
I got a clear acrylic kit. You'll be able to see everything that's happening. So
nice. And my man, share a little bit about some of the keys. I love the bridges and all the different tones that you get on this record. I was telling you, like, what do you call that tone? You're like, I don't know, Rob. We just throw it in there.
Right. I mean, between Russell and I, between all the music programs that we have, we got thousands of patches for keyboards, electronics. Yeah. So I would go to his house, write down some themes, record them. They would be on MIDI as well, and that's what we primarily use. And, you know, hey, I have one sound, and then Russell the next few days, how's this sound? Okay, that sounds better. Then I come back, I have this sound. Okay. So we would go back and forth until it fit.
Russell's like, turn the guitars louder.
Right. So, no, it's a good collaboration. Sure. Because, you know, I have a particular taste in electronics. He has a particular, and it's just finding that common ground to, you know, hey, no, this sounds perfect for this song. This other sound sounds that for that song, of course. Right. So it was just over time, you know, we just nailed it to, you know, just the particular sounds that you hear right now. It's just when you have 1,000 and you're real picky about your sound, it's a lot to go through. You know, I wish maybe there was just 5 we can choose from sometimes.
I can't even imagine.
And then that would make the job a lot easier. But
some of the differences are very subtle.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, and then you guys got to make a call.
No, we do some overlaying on keys. And, you know, of course, there's some parts where we play that, you know, I need four arms to play. So it's just, you know, you got to pick and choose, you know, as far as what can be played, what can be lead, what's going to be
and then you can use like a backing track when you go live or whatever.
Exactly, to get that extra fill-in on there. So, but as musicians, we take pride in playing all of our instruments, doing as much as we can on stage. So that's what we're going to, we're gonna do. We're not just gonna let the backtrack play. It's gonna have
Sure.
its little bells and whistles, of course.
Sure.
Little samples here and there, but for the most part, you're gonna hear us completely play live.
Yeah, cool. The first single, "Ghost in the Machine," came out. When did that come out?
We released it in October.
And you guys released it wasn't even like a lyric video. It was just a YouTube.
A visualizer
video. And I've shared it on the Rob's page. So for some of you people who have not yet heard the first single, look for it on our socials or go to Excodex and check it out. Killer song, man.
Thank you.
And you guys used some samples from the iRobot movie in there, which was one of my favorite movies. They talked about Ghost in the Machine. I remember that movie where he says, like, why do robots, when they're left alone, do they huddle together, stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Super cool, man. I remember I related to it so well. So that single, great lead-off single, guys.
Thank you, yeah.
Great lead-off single. And then my second favorite song, Sun God. God, I love that song. I'm not trying to, sway anybody on the record, but that is my other favorite track. Are you guys going to release another single?
Yes.
Before the release of the record, or are you gonna wait?
We're working on another single right now to be put out with a video. So we're getting all the production and early stuff for the video ready. So we're gonna have a full-on music video for the.
Maybe
next
don't
single.
blow your wad too soon.
Right,
Save
right,
Sun God
right.
for later.
Right. The goal is to probably put out some sort of visualizer, lyric video, or music video for every song on the EP.
Nice. Eventually.
Yeah. So there'll be a little something for everybody on there.
Before we start talking about like when this will be out for the public, we alluded to the fact that Jonny McBee from the band called The Browning helped with this record, and tonight I came to kind of realize that not only did he do vocals on one of the songs, but he also kind of did some production and stuff like that. First of all, before we start talking about what he did on the record, talk a little bit about how did you establish a relationship with him?
So as the pandemic canceled touring for everybody, the Browning themselves were supposed to be on tour through most of 2020. They were playing a show at Come and Take It Live, actually, in Austin, that we had planned to go see them. And the whole thing got canceled, just like everything had. Yeah, so he had this whole tour planned. He had merch purchased. Like, he lost a lot of money doing that, I think. Like a lot of bands did at the time. Lots of bands lost a lot. They were preparing to tour. So he was home. And he has other avenues that he does. Patreon, some Twitch, and a lot of other, social media things that he connects with people through. Mm-hmm. And the Patreon, for those that aren't familiar, have different levels. So like you could subscribe for $5 a month and you get exclusive songs or early access to new mixes. And then if you subscribe for $10 a month or 15 or 20, it just goes up from there for the benefits. And one of the benefits was for like $15 or $20 a month, you can send him your music and he would give you a review of it, basically what he liked about it, didn't like, that sort of a thing. Right. So we sent him off a song. And that's all we were after, is just hey, what do you think of this? Is it good? Do you think we should, what are your notes on the song, basically? And immediately he messaged us back and was like, hey, do you have any more songs? And we're like, yeah, we've got about 7 or 8 that we've been working on. And he's like, send them all to me. And we were just mind blown at that point in time that somebody that from an established, nationally touring band was all of a sudden interested in us. And we're like, wow.
I was about to say, like, the Browning's been around for a while.
Right.
I mean, I saw them play several times at the Alamo City Music Hall. Mm-hmm. And I remember every time they would play, man, it was just like, everybody was like jumping.
Awesome energy.
Awesome energy, really cool. And again, they were playing that electronic fare, and I really dug it because not a lot of people do that.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things, too, that I really love about your band is, like, I don't know any other heavy bands in San Antonio that are doing electronic and industrial metal. I think you guys are like the only ones doing it. And if there's someone else doing it, they probably don't feel confident enough that they're doing it well enough to let everybody know. But yeah, I mean, to have someone like him to evaluate your work, and then of course he's going to give you some feedback.
Yeah, and he did.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was a really big deal for us. The next thing that happened is he was like, hey, we want to talk to you on the phone. And we were just like, oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, we've seen this guy in concert. We wanted to go, we've been to several of his shows, and now all of a sudden he wants to talk to us. We were pretty excited. So we called him up, and we had a 2-hour conversation, and he just went down the line and listened to every song that we had and told us what he liked and didn't like about him. And he was like, they could use a little work. They could use a little, in his professional opinion, certain parts of the songs worked, certain parts didn't work.
Right.
But overall, he loves electronic heavy metal as well.
Yep.
That's why he does it. And he was super excited about our sound. And, we were like, wow, if you really like it, then, And he actually approached us and said, hey, what would you think about me working on your songs?
Yeah.
And we were just like, done. like what do you need to make this happen?
Yeah.
So that started the whole process, and just month by month we would send him a song. He'd work on it, send us some mixes back. We give him notes on what we liked and didn't like, and it just kind of went on from there until we got to the last song, and I felt confident enough to ask him, hey, would you do guest vocals on this song with us? And he agreed. He said totally. He really liked our sound. He loved working with us. And the last song is entitled Ionument.
Ionument.
Yeah. And he said that, he would love to do vocals on it. So not only did he do production on that song as well, he sings on it. So, I mean, and he did an amazing job. We were really impressed with what we got back.
I think that's so cool because, some of these established musicians, they can, try to lend their services out. Of course, you have to pay a fee and stuff. But if you have a guy who really digs your music and wants to be part of it, I think that alone kind of says something. Of course, he's a working musician too.
Right.
But still, I'd rather, and I think he would rather work on something that he's enthused about instead of, just working on something that, someone's paying him to work on and he doesn't really like it.
That was the main thing about working with us, is that he was actually enthused about the music. And he told us that several times, that he really enjoyed what we showed him and he really liked it, and he felt like he could take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And he totally did. We've always said that if we were going to work with somebody on that kind of level, that we wanted somebody that would make our demos to final product be like night and day. And the early demos definitely sound like the songs. But if you hear the early demo compared to what we got back when it was all finalized, I mean, it's just like, it goes from like a pencil sketch to a painting.
Wow.
Same picture, but more detail, more color, more vibrancy, all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, it hooked me, man. I love it. That's so awesome, dude. That kind of opportunity presented itself, and now look, you guys are about to get back into the metal scene here in San Antonio with a really great product, man.
Right, thank you.
That's where it all starts, dude.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the video, the social media, all that's definitely important. But if you don't have a good sound, something that people would genuinely want to listen to, then
wait till this shit drops, dude. I think
we're excited.
Your socials are gonna start blowing up, and this interview tonight's gonna help a little bit. And man, I love it. And I'm not kidding. I jam your record about twice a day, at least twice a day.
Thank you.
At least. I'm not kidding. I go through the 5 songs, I think, in about 30 minutes, but still, I'm jamming it at least twice a day. I love it. And I've shared it with a lot of people in my inner circle. Because some people, they really dig on that industrial stuff, and I do too. Especially, like I said, we don't hear a whole bunch of it here in San Antonio. So let me ask you, and I asked you this off camera, when would you like the record to come out?
We're looking for a release date at the end of April this month or beginning of May. We're on the very back end of everything. We've already got all the artwork back. We're just waiting on the finalized tracks so that we can get them out and get them distributed.
And I think we're going to premiere the artwork here in this video interview.
Awesome, yeah.
So all you people out there, go ahead and take a look at the brand new cover for the debut EP from Excodex. It's going to come out later this month. You will hear the definite date. I might have it before you see this, but if not, just tune in to our socials and definitely check in and go like Excodex Facebook, and you will know when it's out. It's going to be out on all music outlets, right, Russ?
Correct. Yes, it'll be out on everything digitally, Bandcamp, everything like that. 5
killer tracks. We mentioned Ghost in the Machine, Sun God, You just talked about Ionument, but also White Knuckle Blackout and Bleeding Out. And White Knuckle Blackout, too, is a standout track. I love that song, too, man. Killer song.
Thank you. Yeah.
All these songs just make me want to headbang. So good stuff, man.
Good
stuff.
Yeah.
So when the record comes out, which will be soon, as fast as time is going right now, would you like to do some shows?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. As soon as we get the music released and we get our rehearsals finalized and everything, we're going to start playing here and hopefully regionally and everything else. Nice.
And is that kind of important to you, too? I'm glad you mentioned that. Obviously, you have roots in Dallas, but would playing outside of San Antonio is something important to you, too? I know that's more challenging and difficult because we all have our lives
right,
and stuff.
Yeah. Amarillo, Texas. It's a small podunk town in North Texas.
You want to play Amarillo?
No. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, we do want to play everywhere. We play Austin. As the Akuzma, we definitely played around the state. We played Houston and Austin and Corpus, and so we still have a lot of friends and stuff that we can have contacts and everything there. So we're gonna play as much as we can regionally. We want to get it out to all of Texas.
What can fans expect? Obviously, we talked about the Akuzma kind of being like a very visual band. Right. You guys have the sci-fi motif going on with a lot of what you've been doing marketing-wise. What can fans expect to see of you guys live alongside that motif?
They can expect a high-energy show. They can expect something that's headbanging and that's a lot of fun. That's one of the main things I want to make sure is that everybody has a good time. Regardless of what kind of music you do or what genre you're part of, you want to make sure that the people standing in front of you are enjoying themselves and having fun. And sometimes I think people take themselves a little too seriously on stage, So we just want to make sure that there's smiles and energy and fun, and everybody walks away going, "Wow, that was a great time. That was worth showing up for tonight."
Cool. Yeah. I will be at your first show.
Awesome,
I will be there, regardless of where it's at. I want to go check it out.
Awesome.
And I'm going to shoot it because I want some footage too.
Nice.
I am a fan of the band, so I can't wait till that all of this starts happening. It kind of seems too. We were talking off camera that even though the pandemic seems to be subsiding a little bit, at least here in Texas,
right,
that things are starting to open up. How do you feel about that? Are you ready for that?
I'm glad. It's as a live musician.
Some of us are a little bit more apprehensive, but we get it.
As a live musician, it's been definitely trying and testing of our patience. Sure. And I think I'm speak for most of the musicians in San Antonio that we miss it. We miss the big shows. We miss playing our own smaller local shows, and we miss going to the big concerts. So yeah.
As fans, right?
Right,
as
both.
Fans,
yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm hopeful. I think it's going to start opening up, and I think that as more people get vaccinated,
it's looking better. Yeah,
it's looking better. It's looking better. I think I saw something in the news that said most of the people that are coming out positive now are the younger people who have not been vaccinated.
Right.
The older people, the ones who are usually like the high numbers,
the high risk,
above 50 and stuff, their numbers are down because they're vaccinated.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think things are looking up and up, man. Well, that's great. Did you allude to the video earlier? You want to do another video?
Well, we have the visualizer out for Ghost in the Machine.
For the Ghost in the Machine, but another one? You're going to do another one?
We're going to do a full-on music video.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to ask about.
Yes.
Music videos are so important, man. And I want to see you guys in the video.
Oh, yeah, you will. You definitely will.
I want to see you guys in the fucking video, jamming out.
It's a unique situation because our drummer here, DJ, is also a videographer.
Nice.
And he is got everything that we need to make a really good video happen.
You need someone like that in your band,
yes,
man.
Yeah, he does it all. He does the filming and the putting it together on the computer and everything.
Jay, I want to see you in that spacesuit.
Oh no.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I want to see you on cables and shit coming in.
I'm just Yep.
Oh man, that's so great. All right, great guys. I mean, one of the things too, Russ, that I kind of really always kind of admired about you is like you've been in the scene and you're one of these dudes that you work really hard on the back end and you're doing your thing, and you know, you've been out there and you're doing shows. I know that you know a lot of people. We talked about your relationship with Cliff out at Stone Creek and things like that, and that he even taps you to do stuff. So I know you're a well-respected musician as well. So on that kind of note, how do you kind of feel about how things are happening in the SA metal scene?
I think the SA metal scene is very strong. There's a lot of really hard-working bands out there. A lot of good bands that we're friends with. You know, we were talking about Nahaya earlier. We're also good buddies with the guys in Cauterized.
Yeah,
Alex and Ricky and them.
Alex,
yeah,
fucker.
You know, but there's been a certain lately, and I guess in the last year, a lot of the bands have dropped off because of, you know, they're not willing to play or they can't or whatever their issues are. But there have been a good amount of bands that have soldiered on and have continued to play and get out there and do their thing. And I've got much respect for those guys. I mean, they're out there making it happen and keeping things alive for the rest of us that haven't been out there recently. And I mean, that's really cool. It's really cool that they've been working hard.
We were talking about earlier. We were listening to music earlier. And you're like Rob. You know, there's always this new generation too of musicians that are coming up.
Yeah, there's always
young cats, and these young cats too. They grew up with the technology. Yeah, so, you know, I get stuff all the time from these young cats, and I'm like, man, it sounds great, but your song could be better. You know, you're not ready yet. You know, keep working. And you know, we've been around for so long that even some of the young guys from like 10 years ago who are sending me stuff now, I'm like, okay, yeah, now
it's getting good.
You're in your,
and I feel like that's where we're at too. Like, you know, when we were in the Akuzma, you know, we worked just as hard on our songs, but we just hadn't gotten there yet. And now with Excodex, we feel like that we finally have achieved the product and the music that we've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And something that all the people that we've shown and everybody we've shown, we've gotten a really positive response.
Sounds fat, bro.
Yeah.
Sounds fucking fat. Like pro, like fucking awesome. And I think too, like one of the things too that I think as you become a professional musician is that you realize, you know, we are at the heart, the band is at the heart of, in the core of writing the music, but we need that producer, we need that third party to come on in and kind of.
It always helps to have.
Yeah, to help.
It helps to have an objective opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you get so close to your music and you fall in love with it that you love every guitar riff, every note you played, every lyric you sang, but it may not be the strongest. And one of the things about working with Jonny is he did come in and listen to the demos and the songs and say, okay, cut this part out. This part's your best part. Do that more. Yeah. Those sort of things.
Jay didn't want to tell you that.
And he was, he's like,
He's like, thank God Jonny told him.
Yeah, you know. Thank God he called him out on it. But he did. He came in and he did what a producer should do, and he helped with the writing and he helped make the music better by giving us a professional at this point because he's a touring musician. And with all the bands that he's played with and been around and night after night touring the country back and forth and Europe, he's heard a lot. So for him to have his opinion, we took that at face value. You know, if he said something, we trusted him on it. And obviously it was a good choice because the music that we got back from him was phenomenal. And, you know, for us too, I think on his end of it, it was also nice to have a band that was willing to work with him and not, you know, take things to heart, you know, like, oh, well, you want me to cut these parts out? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
We were like, no, like, you know, of the two of us, you're the one with the bigger career. Obviously, you know what you're doing. You're on your fourth album. We're going to listen to what you have to say. Yeah.
And that's smart, man. I mean, you know, sometimes I think people too get a little possessive of their art, you know, and they don't want to do that. I've seen it.
Right.
But, you know, if you're smart, you know, and especially at y'all's stage in the game, you know, what is it going to hurt? You know, we are.
Oh, absolutely.
You're at a really, you know, at a pivotal point in your careers.
Right.
It's like now we got to really do everything by the book to really go to that next level and reach that next level of respect and integrity. Even just here in San Antonio and in Texas. So, man, awesome. And I think once this record drops, it's going to be huge for you guys. Thank you so much for coming over.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having us, Rob.
And talking about it. Before we end out, let's give everyone an opportunity just to say any last words. So, DJ, do you have any last words? Anything you want to say? Any thank yous? Anything like that?
Oh well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in a band with these guys. Like we've like the mutual respect and having known these guys as long as I have, and I'm very excited about where things are gonna go. Like I tell all my other musician friends, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing as DJ said. Working with these guys for years and years and going through all the bands and everything that we've been through, all the shows that we've done live, I think it added to this, and just can't wait to get it out there and let everybody see what we do.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Yeah, we're grateful for the support, and we're grateful for everybody checking it out and giving us a chance. I think we have something unique to deliver to the scene here, and hopefully the music scene at large.
Definitely, man. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time this evening to come over tonight on your Saturday evening right before Easter. So thank you guys. And I really can't wait. And all you people out there should truly be anticipating the brand new record. It's going to be self-titled. Remember, you saw the band Excodex only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.